I always wondered why somebody didn't do something about it. Then I realized I was somebody. Living a normal life in Bali, I'm aware that I am part of the cause. Every day, from my consumption of food, the trips I go on, and the waste I produce. Whenever I went to the beach, I saw plastic trash everywhere. I tried to clean it up, and yet I still couldn't say no to the ibus who packed my lunch with plastic bags. I was still carrying my offerings with plastic bags, used straws hidden from a coconut. I was frustrated when driving behind cars with smoke, and yet I was driving a dirt bike. Sounds familiar? I actually thought I was so involved in it that I didn't even have the right to oppose it. No matter what I would do to reduce my personal consumption, it would never be enough to solve the problem. When I stopped using plastic bags and said no to plastic straws, the problem didn't magically go away. When I was in grade 7, in my local school at SMP 2 Abian Semal, Ibu Henny, who was my English teacher at the time, was actually here in the audience today, this afternoon. Ibu Henny, you are one of the reasons why I'm standing here today. Thank you. Now, Ibu Henny informed me about a free after-school program where I could learn English straight from native speakers. It had always been my mom's dreams for me to learn English straight from the bulas. I was so excited at the time, so I told 10 other friends of mine to enroll in this program with me. We were told to bring 5 kilos of trash to this after-school English program at the Green School called Kulku Connection. I then became active joining the classes until I had the opportunity to share my experience to the whole Green School community in their weekly assembly. It was my first time presenting in front of a lot of people. 2 weeks later, I was introduced to Quest. I was asked if I wanted to do another presentation in June, and I agreed. Little did I know I had to do a full 5-month project about something I was passionate about, and then present it to the community. And I had no idea what I wanted to do at the time. Until one time, I got home from one of the Kakache classes. I had a conversation with my mom about her burning the trash. I said I didn't like it, but she said, Ayu, this was the only way we can get rid of our waste. I reminded her that I went to Kulku Connection and paid with 5 kilos of trash, so of course we had other ways to manage our waste. I realized that my mom is like many other people in my banjar that burn trash. So I wanted to let them know that there are a lot of ways to manage your plastics, and I wanted to educate them on what the effects are on us if we don't do it. I started by raising awareness in my local middle school on waste management, and I set up a Kembali separation in the school. In my quest, I presented about how I facilitated trash walks with 1,200 people in my school. I got a standing ovation for the first time in my life, and it felt amazing. Now, I want to know what you think. Raise your hands if you've ever said no to something you should have said yes to, and then you regret it. Well, look around you. Wow, there's a lot of regretful no's in the room. Now, after Quest, as soon as I got out of Sangkap, a lot of different people walked up to me. The ones that I didn't know. The ones that I've never met. They asked me if I would be willing to work with them. And in case you didn't know, Balinese tend to always say yes when people ask them for their help. We usually find it difficult to resist because we're afraid that we're going to make people upset. Or we just want to be useful for others. Or we simply just want to be acknowledged, so we prioritize others over ourselves. So when people ask me, hey Ayu, can you do another presentation in my events? I would say yes. Can you please help me clean up my banjar? Sure. Would you be willing to be a guest speaker in my webinars? Are you free this weekend for an interview? Hey, Ayu, I need someone who can communicate with with the locals for my new waste management app. Do you want to participate in this competition? Can you help me organize this trash walk, this event, webinars, conference. Can you please help me feed my pigs? That was my mom's question, and I even said yes to that. But you see, I even said yes in bringing a machine as big as this Sangkap that can turn plastic to energy into Indonesia. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know how to handle it, but I said yes because I thought sometimes a yes is good. Maybe it is my culture. Maybe it's just the way I am. Maybe my body knew that I needed to say yes to get through the feeling of being overwhelmed. But for whatever reasons, saying yes changed my life. I am grateful that since then I have connected with a lot of different amazing people, and I've learned new skills. I know when I signed up, yes, it would be difficult to bring a pyrolysis machine to Indonesia. You're probably still wondering why the machine is not in Bali until now. Well, let me tell you. Being involved in the process, meeting government officials, I really felt the frustration. People don't just always say yes to what we want, especially the stakeholders. And I realized that in this project. Being the only Indonesian woman in the team, it's not easy. But during this time, I've learned that my voice in this team matters. Being the youngest, I've learned that my voice is important. I might be saying yes to things, but I worked hard for it. Anyway, after 4 years of being part of this international community, I've learned that my footprint is smaller, but that doesn't mean that my voice is quieter. The same is true for you. If you say yes to things, you too can make a difference. As a Green School student, I've lived in two different communities and environments, local and expats. I've been in the world of sustainability and learned how we can act and make change from small things to speaking up. However, I was bamboozled when my people in the local community didn't have the same understanding. They didn't have the same education as me. When I said yes to the opportunities I was given, I felt empowered. And I want others to have those same opportunities. So since then, it has become my mission to share the knowledge I've received from the Green School to the local community. Yes is empowering. 2 years ago, together with my friend Cynthia in KKC, I created a program that required every KKC students to bring their reusable water bottles every time they attended the after-school class. We carried out a surprise inspection. We would go to their classes every week to check who are the people that brought the reusable water bottles and who are the people that brought the plastic ones. At the end of the year in assembly, we announced the person who brought the reusable water bottle the most to get a shout out so that they felt rewarded. Not a gift, a shout out. In October, and of course, we explained why we did that and raised awareness on on the issue of the single-use plastic bottles. In October that year, 2019, we were invited to the Islander Summit in Ishigaki Island, Japan. We got to present this project to the other delegates from the island of Bali, Hawaii, Ishigaki, and Sardinia. Now, an extraordinary moment of this project came 2 months after I came back from Japan. A 12-year-old Kakashi girl came up to me, showing me her reusable water bottle, asking me if I still did the inspection. Now, this moment was when I realized that my project was a success. Our strategy was to start with the children for building that habit. Turns out, the inspection to check the water bottle thing that we did every week was small, but changing the mindset and accountability for building that habit was a big thing. I use my voice to advocate and raise awareness on how important it is to manage our waste and to be responsible consumers. I organize local climate events. I still organize trash walks and create programs that aims to educate the local youth around the topic. But is it interesting that I asked the local to cut plastics but not the expats? Maybe that will be my next Greenstone. For 2 years, I felt like I was on the roller coaster. When I was on the top of it, I felt hopeful with the wind rushing through my hair, the blood pumping through my veins, and a scream escaping from the very depths of my soul, a scream of excitement, acceleration, and at the same time, fear. And when the COVID-19 pandemic hit was when my roller coaster lost its momentum. I felt helpless again. I felt like my energy was drained, let alone being a role model for other people. I sometimes lost my motivations to do online schools. But then when the hybrid school started, I was introduced to the Carbon Zero project. A project that wasn't active at the time, a student initiative that wasn't active at the time. I immediately said yes to be one of the student leaders in this project alongside Nanda. The return of this project began with the idea of how we can reduce the amount of carbon footprint in the Green School and the local community. For the first few months, Pakmade, Gusta, Ibu Dayu, Nanda, and I have been brainstorming on multiple solutions to reduce carbon. And we decided on 3 main elements: waste management of Kambali, sustainable transportation of biogas, and regenerative agriculture on bamboo seedlings. In Carbon Zero, I am now working on implementing these 3 solutions into schools in Bali. By empowering teachers and students, local teachers and students, to say yes to the opportunity we give, we can help reduce the amount of carbon emissions in the atmosphere. Together, we do better. Now, this whole journey started with my mom. It started with her burning the trash. It started with her wish for my English class. Her wishes for me have power. Her belief in me has made her hope for something for me, like the free English class that were offered. But I had to say yes. My mom has always believed that my yes has power. When I start saying yes to things, when I have impacted the people around me. The opportunities that was given by my mother and the experiences I've described mean to me that I have the responsibility to continue to empower my community to say yes to changing and making impact both sustainably towards the environment and our island. I could hold accountable for my actions and changing the mindset of my community. But who's going to hold you accountable? What are you doing for you and yours? Saying yes to the right things is the only way the locals have the global impact. What if we say yes to the responsibility to save the planet? A vibrant, fair, regenerative future is possible not when thousands of people do climate actions perfectly, but when millions of us do the best as can and start saying yes. Thank you.